I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call it quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve, stretch, seal my greed. That's how I get it, success ain't no giving. Some days I don't eat, I don't sleep. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous, down, wonder when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank, I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze, the roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag, I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need to brag, I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. But some family, you do the math, I'm out of my pocket. Houston, we got a problem, man. Perfect, let them watch me elevating, got them nauseous. Cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit, nose diving in the house. And whoo, watch how I get it here, watch how I get it here, watch how I get it here.
It's time! Welcome to DFS by the Numbers with your host, Brady.
Better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my final thoughts for UFC 295. We got Alex Pereira going against Yuri Prochazka. We have a very fun 13-fight card, a card that is stacked from top to bottom, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. Have a ton of action on this card. I really like this card from a betting perspective and a Draftkings perspective. This is actually the most action I've had on a card since probably like UFC 291 a couple months ago, and haven't had a ton of action as of late. These last couple cards, they've been really chalky, not a ton of value, but this is a card where there's not a ton of big favorites, and I think a lot of spots are sticking out. So yeah, lots of action to talk about. A lot of things to talk about in general. Before we get started, if you guys could please do me a favor, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and then I'll also be going live tomorrow for Best Bet, 3 o'clock Eastern time. We got me, Danny Betts, and then Uncle Weezy. Should be a fun stream there. And then other than that, yeah, just really looking forward to this card, really looking forward to getting into it. We'll talk some prize picks as well. I did get out a prize picks video earlier in the week. If you guys have not checked out prize picks before, use promo code DFSBTN. Get yourself a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. We can talk some prize picks as well. But yeah, let's say what up to the chat. We got Chris, first one in here. Saying, I see you rocking the Penn State hat. Are you from around there? I am not. I did go to Penn State and graduated from Penn State, so that's why I have a lot of Penn State gear. We got Bill in the chat. Help us get ready for these fights, Big Brady. I'm really looking forward to these fights. Really looking forward to this card. A card that is, like I said, stacked from top to bottom. I'm looking forward to pretty much every single fight on this card. We got Lucis saying this is going to be an amazing card, and I 110% agree. Dogs are going to bark on the main card. Yeah, I'm picking a couple dogs this week. I think you can make a case for every single dog. You can make a case for Yuri knocking out Pereira. You can make a case, obviously, for Pavlovich knocking out Aspinall. If Andrade shows up for the first time in a while, she could beat Dern. You can make a case for Diego Lopez. He's super dangerous. And then obviously you can make a case for Matt Frevola as well. So yeah, I think there's a lot of live dogs on this card in general. And I could see a lot of these fights going either way. We got a Deer in the chat. What is up, Deer Slayer? Ski say, let's get it, boys. Let's get it indeed. We got AK in the chat. Get Darst in the chat as well. Bonjour to you as well. We got Zen in the chat. We got Morgan in the chat saying, congrats on becoming a dad, Brady. Not quite yet. Could happen any day now. Was expecting it to happen this week, and it doesn't look like it's happening this week, but could be today, could be tomorrow, could be sometime next week, but it's coming. It's pretty fast. Any day now, and I will be officially be a dad. We got Lord Tom D in the chat. Hi there. Good luck, everyone. Good luck to you as well, Lord Tom D. Best Bet tomorrow. Yes, sir. Really looking forward to Best Bet tomorrow. We got Uncle Weezy coming in. We got myself competing tomorrow, and we're coming down to the end of it. So, yeah, really looking forward to some Best Bet. We got Jesse Q in the chat. Got LJ in the chat saying, let's go, Brady. Can't wait for the co-main and main, and also Benoit, Saint-Denis, Frevola. Yeah, I mean, this main card is ridiculous. I'm really looking forward to it. Just a stacked main card. I see a lot of finishes. I hope so. I like Lopez and Benoit, Saint-Denis. Yeah, I like Lopez. Benoit, Saint-Denis, I'm a little bit iffy on that fight, but we'll talk about it. I bet 500 on Sergey. Let's go. Bold. That's a bold bet. I feel like that main can go either way. We got David saying, hi from Spain, Brady. Nice card to bounce back. Absolutely. Really looking forward to this card. Loopy or Nazim and DraftKings. If I had to pick one, it'd have to be Nazim. I'm not really touching that Loopy Ricci fight. Appreciate you, the high owl. Got Sophie Simpson in the building saying, let's make some money this week. Sup, Brady, what is up to you? Let's see what else we got in here. Over under 8.5 pounds for Brady to be real close. I'm going to say slightly under there. We got Aon saying, hey, Brady, don't stop doing parlays because Almeida versus Lewis went the distance. I actually have a parlay this week, and yeah, that fight was weird. I don't think anybody expected Jailton Almeida to pull what he did. Almost felt like Jailton Almeida bet the decision prop, had 17 to 18 minutes in mount, forgot how to throw a ground strike. So yeah, it really makes you think, but yeah, I'm not letting anything scare me away from betting. I don't roll that way. We got Jeff in the chat saying, congrats on the new baby coming. Good luck with that. And of course, the fight. Let's go. Best of luck to you as well. Jeff, I have a $500 bet, 11-person parlay for a total payout of $500,000. Best of luck to you as well. Those are very, very hard to hit, especially on this card. I mean, this card, you can make a case for every single underdog outside of Roosevelt Roberts. And then lastly, we got Forrest in the building. Brady, hopefully no spiders make an appearance on the show. Just birds, squirrels, and deer. Let's go. Yeah, I saw like 7 or 8 deer the other night, which is weird because I don't live near any forest or woods. But yeah, 7, 8 deer. So that's weird. But yeah, lots of wildlife around the Brady residence. And then we got Olajuwon. What is up? All right, guys. I say we get into it. I want to try to complete this stream before the ceremonial weigh-in start, which they start at 5 Eastern. But knowing the UFC, they don't actually start till like 5:15. So, all right. But yeah, lots of action on this card. Lots of prop plus money sprinkles as always. Got a parlay. Yeah, got a lot of action to talk about and really looking forward to it. This is going to be my highest exposed card from a betting perspective since like 290 or 291. And then I'm going pretty heavy on Draftkings as well. So hopefully it's a good card for many people. All right. We're going to start with the first fight on the card. We got Jamal Emmers going against Dennis Buzukja. And yeah, this is it's the first fight of the night, and I'm kind of glad that they're making this fight the first fight of the night because I have a live stream at 3:00 Eastern time. I'm doing Best Bet, and then I'm also doing a pre-show with I think Blood Money, Wheezy, and then Johnny K Picks. I think it's on Johnny K Picks' channel. So I'm going to be doing like 3 hours of content in a row, and then I might take this fight off and go get like a coffee or something because I don't really have a ton of interest in this fight. This is the one fight where I'm like, I don't really care for it. Jamal Emmers, he's a pretty big favorite, which is always very terrifying, but I really do like this matchup for him. There actually has been a decent amount of people on the Buzukja side. I think it's more so them trying to go out there and fade Emmers. Emmers is a guy that, like I said, you really can't trust this guy. He makes mistakes in the cage. He doesn't have the best fight IQ. He doesn't have the best game planning. He loses a lot of fights he should win. So, yeah, I get it. You don't want to really lay this price tag on Emmers. But as far as a pick, I am going to pick him to win. But nothing really sticking out from a betting perspective. I would lean Emmers by decision, which, it's plus money. But, laying any type of money on Emmers is always very terrifying. So it's going to be a fight I'm going to pass on from a betting perspective, a DraftKings perspective. I can't lay 9,400 on Jamal Emmers. And then from a fan perspective, I might not even be able to catch this fight. I might go out and get a coffee or, get some drink, do something while this fight is going on. But yeah, the pick is Emmers. And by the way, Emmers did miss weight. Just another reason you probably don't want to go out there laying minus 250 on this guy. But I mean, it's for Emmers to lose this fight, he's really going to have to drop the ball. I'm not quite sure what Buzukja is good at. So Emmers, for him to lose this fight, he's going to have to really beat himself, in my opinion. So give me Emmers, but not a ton sticking out on this one from really any perspective. Took a few dog bets here, Slava, Frevola, and Yuri. I like all three. I'm actually picking Benoit Saint-Denis, very, very little confidence, and I'm picking Alex Pereira, very, very little confidence. I am picking Slava, but I think all three of those dogs are very live. Got Joseph in the chat. What is up, Joseph? How you doing? We got Travis in the building. Just in time. What's up, Brady? What is up to you, Travis? Emmers is fine. Big favorite. Emmers is dodgy. It's terrifying, man. I mean, he can go out there and lose a fight that he's clearly winning. He can go out there and make stupid mistakes. And on top of that, he missed weight, which is very scary because I don't think Emmers has ever missed weight off the top of my head. So maybe something's wrong. I don't know, but just another reason to kind of stay away from this fight. Get Dar saying, thanks for following me on Instagram. I try my best to make my page look good for people interested in it. Yeah, I followed you on Instagram. Got your message there. I'm going to try to be more active on Instagram next year. Haven't really done a ton on it lately. Need to get back on there, but it's been a really busy last couple months for me. Got Jonathan in the building. What is up, Jonathan? Would you include Emmers in your DK lines? I'm not. So I was already going to fade Emmers prior to Rebecki getting a new opponent, Roosevelt Roberts. Now that Rebecki's on the slate, it's really hard for me to get to Emmers. So I'm not going to be touching him. And then Emmers should win easily. Dude lost a very close split to Giga and Jenkins. And yeah, I thought he won the Jenkins fight. I actually had a bet on Jack Jenkins, the plus 3.5 point spread. And then Jack Jenkins ended up winning the fight outright, which I didn't agree with, but I was very happy to cash that ticket. All right. We'll move on to the next. Did he? Emmers shaved his braids to try to make weight, is the feeling I got. So he missed weight by only like a pound. So I don't know if he went back and tried to make weight or not. Apparently he didn't. So yeah, missed weight by a pound. If my baby is a girl, well, it's a boy. But if it was a girl, yes, it would absolutely be named Liang Na Brady. I think that would be perfect. But it's a boy. But we'll move on to the next fight. We got Joshua Van going against Kevin Borshchev. In my opinion, if this fight was not so low on the card, like this has fight of the night potential here. Both these guys want to do the exact same thing, and that is stand and bang until one man falls. These guys have 17 wins. 15 of those wins come inside the distance between the two. These guys have only seen the scorecards twice in a combined 19 fights. So yeah, these guys like to get in and get out. And like I said, both these guys are going to get the fight they want. You know, when these guys are losing, they're getting subbed, right? Van's been subbed and his only loss. Borshchev has been subbed and his only loss. And on the Contender Series, Boros went out there and fought a guy that just relentlessly tried to take him down the entire time. Didn't really give him a lot of room to breathe. But when we saw the fight was on the feet, we saw that Boros has a lot of great striking, a lot of power, a lot of good things, a lot of tools on the feet. And I was very impressed with that Borshchev performance on the Contender Series. So I taped this fight and I taped Borshchev first and I was very impressed. And then I taped Josh Fan and I was kind of blown away. It's crazy to think that this guy's only 22 years old. He has real power for the flyweight division. He is hurting guys in pretty much every single fight I saw. Even the one fight where he won by decision against Zalgas, he had Zalgas out of there. Like the ref probably could have even stopped the fight. Zalgas was hurt bad. And then Zalgas ate like a flush head kick as well, which made no sense. But yeah, Van impressed in his debut there. And then I went back and watched some of his other fights. He has power. He's hurting these guys. He also has a very opportunistic submission game as well. So yeah, I mean, I lean the Van side. But this is going to be a fight where, like I said, I think these guys are going to stand and bang until one man falls. I think somebody's getting served here. I am on the under 2.5 rounds. I have 1.5 units on it at plus 105. And that is currently around minus 110 pick'em. So this is a card where I beat some line movement this week. And I also got reversed CLV'd this week a couple times. So I guess it all kind of evens out. This line I thought I would actually crush and beat by a mile, but that's not the case. Money has came in on these overs. And I don't know, these last two fights have went to decision for both guys. But like I said, he could have finished Zalgas. And then in the Borshchev fight, he was getting grappled for 10 minutes. So yeah, I think somebody gets served here. I like the under 2.5 rounds. Was also maybe looking at like a Josh Van submission prop at like a stupid number, but they're all over it. I think I saw plus 500, which is not good enough. But I kind of lean Josh Van like club and sub. But give me the under 2.5 around even money there. 1.5 units on that. From a DraftKings perspective, yeah, from a DraftKings perspective, I like both sides. Boros at 7K, though, he's super cheap, and this guy throws ridiculous volume. Really, both guys do. And like I said, Boros has finished 8 of his 9 wins by knockout. So another fight that I think is great to target on DraftKings here. I think the winner's going to score very high, actually, because both these guys throw with crazy, crazy volume there. And I think there's sneaky finish upside as well with these flyweights. So, yeah, phenomenal fight here. I think it's potential fight of the night, but it's going to be hard to get fight of the night with a fight like Saint-Denis Frevola on it. We got Sadikov, Borshchev, I think, at fight of the night contender. Just a lot of fight of the night contenders, but this is one of them for me early on the card. So I'm going to make sure to sit back and watch this one for sure. Yep, all fights are on. No fight cancellations, which is nice. Of course, they still could cancel a fight during the card, which they love to do, but I mean, I hope not. And great minds think alike. Van by submission prop. Yep, I was thinking the same thing. I thought it'd be something like stupid, like plus 1,200 or something crazy like that. But let me see what it is. I think I saw like plus 500. Van by sub, not even, like plus 450. So I think they're kind of onto it there. Van and Borshchev fight starts round 2 is my lock. I do think it probably starts round 2. It's going to be a sweat, though. Van and Zalgas worth a rewatch on Fight Pass. 110% it is. I mean, that fight was a banger. Like I said, Van hurt Zalgas very badly in the second round. Was very close to getting him out of there. We's going to be sweating the over 1.5. Yeah, any over in this fight, I think, is going to be a nasty, nasty sweat. Van Stryking's crispy. Absolutely. He's crispy, powerful, lots of volume. I love it. We got Vera in the chat. What is up? We got Ben in the chat. What is up, Ben? All right. We'll move on, guys. We'll move on to John Castaneda going against Kang Ho Kong. So I placed a bet on this fight earlier in the week, and it's a bet that it was like a numbers play. Like it was a big juicy number, and I felt like there's going to be opportunities for this big juicy number to hit, right? And what I got was the fight doesn't go to decision at plus 180 for 1 unit, and I beat some line movement there. But after like the narrative things popped up throughout this week, I kind of like that fight doesn't go at plus money even more. So John Castaneda apparently he had something wrong with him. Like he was sick. I think he had maybe bronchitis, something. I mean, John Castaneda had something going on with him, and he actually requested this fight to be at a catch weight of 138 pounds. And then he weighed in today, and he looked like he barely made weight. Looked like he had a pretty tough weight cut there. He needed the box of shame. And if this was not a catch weight, he would have missed weight. And John Castaneda has missed weight a couple times before. So John Castaneda is coming in here after apparently being very ill, requesting a catch weight. I think it makes me like violence just a little bit more there. And then, like, as far as how this fight plays out, both these guys have power. It's another fight that I think is going to be very fun. I think these guys are going to go after it. John Castaneda has a ton of power. He's landed a ton of knockdowns thus far in the UFC. I'm going to take a look here. John Castaneda has actually landed a knockdown in his last 4 fights. He knocked down Wayne Gaffarov, which that guy's super tough. He knocked down Daniel Santos, which that guy's super tough. I think he actually knocked him down twice, or at the very least he hurt him like 3 or 4. It was crazy. Like hurt Daniel Santos super bad a lot in that first round. He knocked down Miles Johns, and he hurt Miles Johns twice in that fight. And then he knocked out the very durable Eddie Wineland. And I'm just kidding. He's not durable, but he knocked him down and out nonetheless. So John Castaneda has real power, and Kang Ho Kong does as well. I mean, Kang Ho Kong hurt Christian Quinones very badly in his last fight. He got on top and submitted him shortly after. And Kang Ho Kong was looking through his career in the UFC. He has a ton of knockdowns, not a ton of knockouts, but he has some club and subs. He has some submissions. So I just feel like this is a fight where there could really be finishing opportunities on either side here. Both guys hit really hard. Both these guys are going to go after it. And with the whole catch weight, the whole Castaneda coming in here after being, really sick apparently. And we've seen Castaneda break before. We saw Daniel Santos break this guy and finish him, right? So I just feel like at a big plus money number, there's a lot of value on that fight doesn't go. I think I kind of lean the Kong side. I have all week. And like I said, after hearing the whole Castaneda stuff, I kind of lean him even more. But Kang Ho Kong is a dog that has had a lot of money come in on him. Kang Ho Kong was like plus 140, plus 150. He's now anywhere from plus 105 to plus 110. So Kang Ho Kong, a very popular dog, and I get it. I think this fight's going to be very close, and I think either guy is live to get their hand raised there inside the distance as well. From a DraftKings perspective, I can't. It's hard to get to Castaneda, but this guy has real power. He really does. So I don't know what I'm going to do with Castaneda yet. I made my lineups the other day, but I think I might change him up a little bit. I don't know. I might add some of this fight, but Kang Ho Kong as an underdog makes a lot of sense, especially with the line closing as much as it had. So I think Kang Ho Kong is probably my play. I like a lot on DraftKings, but I might add a little bit Castaneda as well because I think he's going to be super low owned and he's very dangerous in his own right. But yeah, really fun fight here. I'm on the fight doesn't go 1 unit plus 180, beat some line movement there and hoping somebody gets served in this one. Yeah, the box of shame. The box of shame. We got Nick in the chat. Yo-Yo Brady, what is up? Got the spider emoji. Hate spiders, man. I haven't seen one in a while, though, which is nice. Loopy or Erceg and DraftKings. I would go with Erceg. Some good sharps on Kong. Should be a good one. Good luck. Yep. I mean, I like Kong myself, but at the same time, Castaneda he's super dangerous. I think he's really good, but yeah, I think this fight really can go either way. I have 1.5 units on Castaneda. I think he could win, but it's a dog or pass for me. KO 2 and 3 are huge. You're talking about Kang Kong, I'm assuming. Yeah, Kang Kong's finish props are like ridiculously, crazily priced this week. Like Kang Kong inside the distance in general was something stupid like plus 500, plus 450. Kang Kong by knockout plus 1100. Kang Kong by submission plus 600. So these finish props on the Kong side are very juicy. And that's the question. I mean, I think it had to be maybe a sub, I'd say, like a club and sub. He's not really knocking anybody out, Kang Kong. When he's finishing guys, it's club and sub more often than not. Let's take a look. So we club and subbed Christian Quinones. He subbed Ishihara. He subbed Guido Canetti. And he subbed Shimizu back in 2014. So, yeah, he has a couple finishes. 1, 2, 3, 4 finishes in the UFC for Kong, and all those are by sub. So I would lean like club and sub type situation. I'd love to call you sometime, Brady. I have something to show you I've created. You hit me up on Instagram, and we can set that up. We have a week off coming up in 2 weeks. That'd be a great time. In Australia, we have spiders. Yeah, I've seen some videos, man, of these Australian spiders, and they look like they're fake videos, but these spiders are like the biggest spiders ever seen, and it's terrifying, dude. I am terrified of big spiders. All right, we'll move on to the next fight. We got Jared Gordon going against Mark Madsen. Yeah, this is probably my second least favorite fight on the card behind the Emmers fight. I think it's I don't know. It's a fight that I do like Jared Gordon to win. The line kind of got away. He's a very popular play this week. Let's see, Jared. Oh my gosh, Jared Gordon minus 210 now. Yeah, that's I can't get there. I think he wins this fight, but at the same time, how does Jared Gordon win fights? He wins them by decision. He has no finishes in the UFC, and Mark Madsen just stupid tough, right? So you're going to lay minus 210 on Jared Gordon when the fight's going the distance, and your bet's going to be in the hands of these crooked, terrible judges. Like I had a bet on Mark Diakese last week, and one of the judges scored the fight for Caio Fernandez. I'm like, what's going on? I mean, which round did he win? I don't know. He landed a nice calf kick, but that's about it. But yeah, so the judges scare me. And at the end of the day, like this fight could be close. Mark Madsen has a path here to get takedowns. I think it's going to be a situation where Mark Madsen wins the first round, Jared Gordon wins the third round, and I think the fight's going to come down to round 2. And with these judges, they could potentially get it wrong. So laying this much chalk on Jared Gordon, a guy that's primarily going to win this fight by decision, it just scares me a little bit. If you got in the earlier numbers on Gordon, I liked it. I mean, he was minus 140, minus 150. I would have liked it there, but at minus 200, I can't advocate for laying that on Jared Gordon. Jared Gordon by decision could be something I'd be potentially interested in. It is plus money. I think that's solid. And then a bet that I do have for this fight is the finish only for the Mark Madsen side. It's plus. I got it at plus 170 for 1 unit. It's actually like plus 230 on FanDuel Sportsbook, which is kind of baffling considering. The one thing I'd be worried about with Jared Gordon is this guy's chin. This guy gets knocked out like it's his job. He's been knocked out 4 times. Bobby Green even knocked him out. It got turned to no contest with the head clash and the ground and pound shortly after. But Jared Gordon's been finished in 5 of his 6 losses. That's 80%. And yeah, I mean, I think if somebody's getting finished here, it's Jared Gordon getting finished. So I think the finish only for Mark Madsen makes sense. Jared Gordon by decision makes a lot of sense. Other than that, I'm not too interested in this fight. So I got 1 unit on the Mark Madsen finish only, a.k.a. the scorecards equals no action. I think that pushes, but I just feel like a finish only prop against Jared Gordon shouldn't be plus money. So give me the finish only. And then from a DraftKings perspective, I can't touch Jared Gordon. He actually doesn't score terribly on DraftKings, but I think there's a lot of better plays around him. And I'm not even sure I like Mark Madsen that much on DraftKings. He's actually not the best DraftKings scorer either. So might be staying away from this fight from a DraftKings perspective. Madsen is a beast. I think he is a beast. I'm right there with you. I think he's a beast, though, for about 7.5 minutes, and then he really starts to slow down is the thing. So, I mean, if Mark Madsen had cardio and could wrestle for 15 minutes consistently, yeah, I mean, I think he win this fight, but the problem is he does slow down as the fight goes on. Let's see here. When Brady says he's not interested in a fight, I just bet the overs, and yeah, I think this fight does go to decision. But the over is minus like 280, minus 300, which makes sense. Do the judges ever have money on fights? For sure, they might. Sometimes it feels like it. Sometimes there's been some sketchy scorecards, and I'm wondering if Jonathan Almeida has money on fights. I mean, for him to go out there and get into mount like he did and not finish Derek Lewis, I'm wondering if Jonathan Almeida had a like a plus 2,000 decision ticket the other night. So yeah, I don't know. There's been some weird stuff going on. Man, I was sweating that DKC decision when I realized it was a split. Sheesh. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm shocked that the judge scored it for Fernandez. I don't get it. I know DKC didn't do much, but neither did Fernandez. Mark Madsen couldn't finish Banana if he had a gun to his head. He has more finishes in the UFC than Jared Gordon, believe it or not. But yeah, I don't think either of these guys are finishing. Staying away from this one also. Yeah, I think it's a solid one to stay away from. Madsen had a split with Clay Guida, in my opinion. Gordon is better than that. Yeah, Gordon should win this fight as long as his durability holds up and as long as the judges don't screw him, which are two things that, they could fail him. Jared Gordon is overrated at those odds. No, yeah, at these odds, I couldn't get to minus 220. At minus 150, sure. Minus 140, sure. Minus 220. And there's a lot of things that can go wrong, laying minus 220 on Jared Gordon, but he should go out there and win. Yeah, it was such a huge letdown seeing Jonathan get into mount so easy and do nothing with it. Yeah, my read was perfect, right? What I thought was going to happen was Jonathan was going to get a takedown within the first 30 seconds, check. Jonathan was going to shortly after get into mount, check. And then I thought he was going to finish the fight, which didn't happen. So, yeah, just really makes you scratch your head there. Craziest outcome I've ever seen. In that case, Jared Gordon couldn't finish Banana if he had two guns to his head. Yeah, neither of these guys aren't good finishers. We got a Herb in the building. Hey, man, can't wait for tomorrow night. Backing Aspinall as I'm from the UK. Let's get some dough. Yeah, I have a little bit bet on Aspinall as well. A couple Aspinall props sticking out there. But, yeah, really looking forward to that one. All right. Move on to the next fight. Now we get to the good stuff. We got Nazim Sadikov going against Slava Borshchev. And this is a fight that I think is going to be an absolute banger. In theory, we have a striker versus grappler matchup in this one. We have Sadikov who, yeah, the thing I looked for when watching tape on Sadikov was, does this guy go out there and does he wrestle? And I watched a lot of his fights. I think I went back and watched like 6-7 fights, maybe 8 fights of Sadikov. And what I looked for was does this guy wrestle? And I kid you not, I saw 0 fights where this guy went out there and attempted more than 2 takedowns. I saw him maybe attempt 1 takedown in a couple fights, but there was a lot of fights where it was actually, other guys trying to take him down, or he's going out there and he's knocking out these guys, or he hurts his opponent, gets on top, or maybe his opponent makes a mistake, he gets on top, but he doesn't really shoot takedowns is the thing. So if he went out there and shot takedown, I mean, this is an easy fight, right? I mean, Slava's takedown defense is the worst in the UFC. It's like 30%, which I'm surprised it's even that high. So yeah, I mean, Sadikov has a path to victory. With all that said, though, I mean, maybe we do see Sadikov come out here for the first time in his career wrestle, because he trains with good wrestlers. Guys like Matt Frevola, guys like Marab, Aljamain Sterling. He trains with all those guys. So in theory, he can come out here and wrestle. But I have a slight feeling that he's going to go out there and try to stand and bang with Slava Borshchev like he does with all of his opponents. And if he stands and bangs with Slava Borshchev, I mean, it could get bad very quickly. Sadikov was getting outlanded by Evan Elder, got dropped by Evan Elder, and that fight was super close. And I went back and watched Slava's strike. I mean, this guy, Slava, his striking is incredible. He has a ton of power. There's a reason guys are diving at his legs, like in the Diakase fight, in the Mike Davis fight. And Mike Davis is a great striker himself. And he turned Mike Davis into a wrestler. So if these guys stand and bang, Slava's going to be a very live dog. And that's why a lot of people are probably on him this week, including me. So what I did in this fight was I have 2 bets here. I got reverse CLV'd on one. And then the other one I did beat some line movement. So I have Slava by knockout plus 260 for a half a unit. I think if Sadikov stands and bangs with Slava can knock him out. I mean, Slava has real power, and Slava hits like a try. I think Slava can knock him out on the feet. And then what I also have is the under 2.5 rounds. This is where I got reverse CLV'd. People like the overs here, but I like the under. I got 1.5 units on it at minus 150. That is now minus 135. So I kind of jumped the gun early. But yeah, I think both guys have paths to finish. On the feet, Borshchev can absolutely knock out Nazim. And then on the feet, Nazim can even knock out Borshchev. Like, Borshchev is pretty hittable himself. And we've seen Borshchev hurt as well. So I think either guy can knock out either guy. And then the thing is, like, whenever I saw Nazim Sadikov get on top of somebody, he's pretty much always finishing the fight. His ground and pound is vicious. He has a great submission game. Nazim's ground game is very good. I'm shocked he doesn't use it more than he does, because when he gets on top of guys, he does serious damage and finishes the fight. And I know Mark Diakase didn't finish Slava, but come on. Come on. You know, Mark Diakase's not finishing anybody. Did you guys see the ground and pound that Mark Diakase was landing against Caio Fernandez? You didn't? Because he didn't throw any ground and pound. He was covering up his mouth, but that's it. And then Mike Davis didn't finish Borshchev on the ground. Mike Davis didn't even finish Thomas Gifford, right? So if Nazim gets on top of Slava, I think he could sub him or TKO him. So I like the under here, although I am getting reverse CLV'd on it. And then I also like Slava by knockout. I think he's going to have plenty of opportunities there. All right. Got Sophie saying Slava, in my opinion, is a public dog, and I fade those. Yeah, there's a couple public dogs this week. I feel like Slava's a public dog. Kang's a public dog. Even a little bit of Borshchev. A lot of people are on Borshchev. A lot of people on Ricci. I think there's a lot of dogs that people are on this week. Obviously, a lot of people are on Yuri and Pavlovich. A lot of people are on Lopez. Yeah, there's a lot of public dogs. Which one's the biggest public dog? I don't know. Maybe it's Slava. But yeah, lots of dogs that people are high on this week. And that makes sense. This is a card where I feel like you can make a case for every single dog outside of Roberts. On the money, Nas doesn't wrestle, and if he does, he won't be able to keep up for 3 rounds. I kind of agree with that. Slava will outwork him on the feet for a late KO or a decision win, in my opinion. Yeah, I could see it. He better shoot takedowns. Yeah, if I'm betting Nazim Sadikov, I would really want him to shoot takedowns. I just haven't seen it. Let's be honest, he's coming out of the Cerro Longo camp and he's fighting Slava. He's going to wrestle. Yeah, if he does, it's a winnable fight. It's a really winnable fight. Slava made Diakase into D1 Diakase. He did. And D1 Mike Davis as well. We've got match predictions in the building. What is up? Slava was getting punched up by Dakota Bush too, in my opinion. Yeah, Dakota Bush landed some big shots. And yes, we almost witnessed the first death in the octagon in that fight. I remember watching that fight. I think it was back in 2019, 2020. And I was with my friend and we were like, stop. It was hard to watch. He beat the brakes off of Thomas Gifford. I don't think we saw poor Thomas Gifford after that fight. I mean, it was the worst beating I've ever seen. I mean, that was extremely hard to watch. So yeah, that was rough. Diego Lopez is the biggest public dog. I could see that, but there are a lot of people on Sabatini, though, I see. Fight of the night, Benoit Saint-Denis Frevola. That's my pick as well. People saying Ricci is better on the feet. I hope nobody said that. I don't agree with that at all. The whole fight rides on Slava's takedown defense holding up. In my opinion, the whole fight rides on Nazim Sadikov wrestling. If he wrestles, he's getting a takedown. I mean, a gust of wind could take down Slava Borshchev. So, yes, looking forward to it. I'm on the under, and I'm on Slava by knockout. I think both those will have a ton of opportunities to hit there. All right. And then, of course, a great fight to target on DraftKings. Moving on, we got Mateusz Rebecki going against Roosevelt Roberts. So I added 2 late bets today after the weigh-ins, and the first bet that I added was Rebecki inside the distance. Laying chalk on it, it's minus 160, which was the best price out there by a mile. Like, some books have it minus 200 for the inside the distance. Some books have it minus 190, but Bet365 is hanging a minus 160 there, which is decent considering Rebecki is minus 610 on the money line, and this guy's an absolute finisher. Roosevelt Roberts has been finished in 2 of his 3 losses, and what really sealed the deal for me is Roosevelt Roberts showed up, missed weight by a couple pounds, and didn't look great. So he's coming in here on short notice, probably wasn't preparing for a fight. I mean, that fight got made like Monday night, Tuesday morning, like not too long ago. And if you're not prepared to go into a fight, let alone against an absolute killer against Mateusz Rebecki. I'm not sure Roosevelt Roberts is going to hold up. And I like Roosevelt Roberts. I'm actually a big fan of this guy. He's a brown belt in BJJ. I think his striking is really solid as well. I think he's a very serviceable fighter, but I mean, this is a tough matchup for him. Not only is it a tough matchup in general, but it's a tough matchup on short notice, and then the whole weight miss. And, I really like Rebecki to go out there and win this fight very dominantly. It's one of those fights where I think Rebecki's either going to Thomas Gifford him, where he's just going to beat the living breaks off of Roberts across 3 rounds, or I think he's going to go out there and finish him. And it could be by knockout. It could be by knockout. It could be by sub. I'm not sure Roberts is going to survive the full 15 minutes here. So give me Rebecki inside the distance, 1 or 2 units, -160, which that -160 is the best price out there by a mile. And I think he finishes Roberts at some point in this fight. Could be in any round. Could be early, could be late. I'm not sure, but I think he does go out there and just completely destroy Roosevelt Roberts in this fight. From a DraftKings perspective, I'm really glad they added Rebecki to the slate, because prior to Rebecki being on the slate, like, the most expensive guy was Jamal Emmers, which is terrifying. And now that Rebecki's on the slate, I have a ton of him. He's my highest exposed fighter. I think he has finish upside and a ton of upside in general. Extremely expensive, but that's okay. Lots of live dogs on this card from a DraftKings perspective. So I have a ton of Rebecki. So yeah, a lot of my night riding on Rebecki from a DraftKings perspective, and then I also did add the inside the distance as well. I think that's the most likely path. Anything better than -200 is a good deal on Rebecki inside the distance. I'd say so, considering he's -600, 650. Yeah, I mean, this is a fight that he should go out there and destroy this guy. So yeah, -200. There's some -200s out there, -175s out there, and then on 365, you guys have it. It's -160. Roberts by KO +1200. I don't know if he's KOing him though. If Roberts wins this fight, I'm not even sure how he's going to do it. Roberts, let's see. I don't know. I don't know if he's knocking out Rebecki. I don't think Roberts has any KOs in the UFC. Roberts is more like a submission guy. He's a brown belt. I don't think he's KO'd anybody. So we'll see. Would you put over a unit on -175? You got to go 2 units there. I like Roosevelt too. He's kind of bad decisions though. Yeah, he's one of those guys. Kind of bad at making decisions in the cage. Rough spot. I don't like his chances, and he's lost 20% too. Yeah, I don't like his chances, especially after seeing the weigh-ins. I thought Roosevelt was going to win this season stuff. I was rooting for him. Like I said, I'm a big fan of this guy. I like him a lot. I was actually, shocked they, first of all, cut this guy. And, second of all, it just didn't make sense. But he's back in the UFC now. They're just doing him no favors whatsoever. Yeah, maybe like a front show. And it had to be probably early as well. I'm not sure Roberts can go 15 here. It had to be like an early catching him type situation. And yeah, I don't think he can get Rebecki out of there. And yep, he's back in the UFC. He's back in the UFC. Just a trash matchup, in my opinion. All right. We'll move on to the next fight. We got Steve Erceg going against Alessandro Costa. Really looking forward to this fight here. We have Erceg, who's sitting around the -190, -200 range all week. And yeah, I like Erceg here a decent amount. I like both guys here. It's a fight where I do like both guys. I remember when Erceg came in here. It was earlier this year on short notice against David Dvorak, right? And he was a pretty big dog. David Dvorak, I think at the time, was either ranked like 9 or 10 in terms of flyweight. And a lot of people, including me, thought Dvorak, hey, this is a guy that Dvorak probably should beat. But that was not the case. Erceg won that fight. I believe they called it a split decision, which, I completely, let me double check that. Unless I'm thinking of another fight. No, it wasn't a split decision. Good, because it wasn't a split decision. He went out there and cleanly beat David Dvorak. He hurt David Dvorak bad in the second round, was really close to getting him out of there. And I like a lot of things in terms of the game of Erceg. Erceg striking is really good. I was really impressed with the striking of Erceg. Like, his strikes are very clean. He has very good power as well. A lot of his wins come by submission. A couple of those are club and subs, right? So I like the power of Erceg, the striking of Erceg. Solid cardio as well, and then super tough also is Steve Erceg. And then his base is BJJ. This guy's a BJJ black belt, a very good grappler, and that's the best part of his great game is that grappling. But man, the striking really impressed me. He's taken on Alessandro Costa, who's coming in here on short notice, which I hate. The last time we saw Costa in a short notice fight, he looked like trash against Amir Albazi. And I know it's Amir Albazi. Albazi's like a top 5 flyweight, but I mean, the fight wasn't even remarkably competitive at all. I mean, it was Albazi the entire time. Albazi actually hurt Costa multiple times. He dropped him twice and then finished him, which is, kind of concerning considering, Amir Albazi's not really, knocking out many people. Like Amir Albazi's submitting guys, sure, but he's not really going out there and knocking out many people. Is Amir Albazi. So Albazi dropped him a couple times. He finished him. And then this is a fight where, like I said, Costa's coming in here on short notice. I don't like that. I don't know if his cardio is going to hold up, and I don't know if his durability is going to hold up. I don't like the durability of Costa. He's been finishing 2 of his 3 losses, and, Erceg's super durable, whereas Albazi hasn't really shown a ton of great durability. So, yeah, I like Erceg here, and how I'm playing this fight is I like Erceg inside the distance, plus 200, half a unit. And then I like Erceg to win in round 2, quarter unit, plus 800. And then Erceg round 3, quarter unit, plus 1100. I think it comes late. I do. I think it's going to be after Costa starts slowing down. I think Erceg's going to put it on him. And I think he's going to get him out of there in either the second or third round. I kind of lean third there. But yeah, I think at some point Erceg's going to get Costa out of there. I think it's late as well. So I'm on those late Erceg props 2 and 3. And I'm on the inside the distance plus 200. And then I was also looking at the KO, but I didn't want to get too greedy because at the end of the day, this guy Erceg, he's a submission guy. Most of his wins do come by submission, so I could see like a club and sub, or if he is able to get the fight down to the mat and Costa's tired, yeah, you could sub him. But I do kind of lean like a knockout here. We got a big in the chat saying, appreciate all the work you put into the vids. Appreciate you for hanging out, Big Sus 420. Do appreciate that. Match prediction saying Costa. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Costa, just not a big fan of him taking this fight on short notice. Which fights are potentially going the distance? I think the Jared Gordon Madsen fight, I think, goes the distance. The Tabitha Ricci Godinez fight goes the distance. What else? The Emmers fight, I think, goes the distance. And then I think even like the Kang Castaneda fight could go the distance. Outside of that, I think we get a lot of finishes the rest of the way. I have Erceg in a couple parlays. I don't mind it. I think he wins. I think he's solid. I think he's going to have to worry about the power of Costa early on, but as the fight goes on, I think it heavily favors him. Richard saying, yo, I heard Emmers was overweight. Does anybody know if that fight was canceled? Had money on it? No, the fight is still going on as far as I'm concerned. Good fight for watching. Both got that dog in them. Yeah, 100%. 100%. All right. So, and then, by the way, on DraftKings, I do like some Erceg as well at 8,600. Moving on, we have the Simp Fight of the Week. Fight that, a lot of people are very confident in either side, and I figured that would be the case. When I looked at this fight early on in the week, I went to Bet MMA Tips, and on Bet MMA, you can kind of see where people are betting, and it's split right down the middle, and that seems to be the case throughout the rest of the week. I mean, a lot of people very confident in Loopy, a lot of people very confident in Ricci. This is actually a fight I don't have a bet on. So I don't have a bet on the Emmers fight, and I don't have a bet on this fight. I do have a bet on every other fight, though. I don't know. I feel like Loopy wins the fight. I feel like it's a good matchup for her. But it's Loopy at the end of the day. We have questioned her fight IQ many of times throughout the UFC, but I kind of feel like this is a fight where she's able to use her wrestling to keep the fight standing, keep it on the feet, and on the feet, I just feel like Loopy's the much better striker. So I like Loopy to win this fight by decision, but I don't really want to bet on it, to be honest, for a couple reasons. For one, the line's gotten away a little bit, which is weird. Like a lot of people are on Ricci, the line's moved the other way. Loopy now minus 175, so I don't love that. I feel like this fight could potentially play out close. I feel like it's going to decision, and the judges suck. And then you also have to worry about the fight IQ of Loopy as well. She could make a mistake. I don't know. So I like Loopy to win the fight, but I don't like it enough to go out there and pull the trigger on it. So I'm passing on this fight, and I'm passing on it from a DraftKings perspective as well. Fun fight. I'm going to enjoy it as a fan. Going to enjoy the fight as a fan, but in terms of betting on it, I'll let everybody else bet on it. The Simp Fight of the Week, people are planting their flags. I like Loopy to win, but I'm not planting my flag on it for sure. So, yep, Loopy for the win, but no interest in it from a gambling perspective. I'm on Loopy, but not confident enough. Yeah, I'm right there with you there. If it's split down the middle, take the dog. I personally don't think it's split down the middle, but if you think that, yeah, take the dog. If you think it's a 50-50 fight, you got to take the dog there. Which fighter will deliver the most takedowns in your opinion? Nobody in the main, nobody in the co-main. Dern? No. Sabatini could. Saint-Denis could. Rebecki could. Nazim could. I mean, there's a lot of options here. I'll say Sabatini. I don't know, but that fight could end early too. I don't know. I'll say Sabatini, probably the most likely, or Sadikov. If Sadikov wrestles, it's him. Are they fighting right now? No, not yet. Not yet. How can anyone be confident on either side? I'm confident it'll be close to the over or pass. Yeah, over should be fine. Yeah, I don't see anybody getting a finish here, and I'd be pretty surprised if so. I think I might live bet chalk on Loopy if she shows she's not fighting dumb. Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Yeah, I was really upset with Loopy for a while because after I had a good amount of money on her against Angela Hill, she went out there and forgot how to wrestle. But I completely forgive her after she went out there and beat the brakes off of Elise Reed, cashing a inside the distance prop and a sub prop for me. So really happy with Loopy now, but I won't be betting on her here. I don't really see a need to. All right, let's get into this main card here. We're gonna start with, I think they switched the orders to Sabatini Lopez's first, but we'll start with the Benoit Saint-Denis Matt Frevola first. So I'll be honest, guys, I don't like doing this, but earlier in the week, I picked Saint-Denis, and then as the week went on, I kept feeling terribly about it, and then I went and digged a little bit more into the fight, and I'm still gonna pick Saint-Denis to win at the end of the day, but I have like negative a million confidence on it. I think Frevola is super live here to win this fight. I think he's super live to get the knockout. I think these guys are going to stand and bang it to one man falls, right? And on the feet, Frevola's the better striker. He's the much better striker, both offensively and defensively. The one thing you got to worry about with Frevola is the chin, the durability, where you don't have to worry about that on the Benoit Saint-Denis side. But Benoit Saint-Denis gets hit, and he gets hit clean. His striking defense is non-existent, 44%. His chin's up in the air, and he's getting hurt in a lot of these fights. He's super tough, but we saw Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos finish him in the second round. I know it says decision, but I mean the fight he finished him, but the ref forgot to stop it for some reason. And then even in some of the other fights, like Miranda wobbled him a little bit, Moises was touching him up a little bit, and Frevola has real power. I mean, Frevola back to back first round knockouts. Frevola just knocked out Drew Dober. I mean, if you can knock out Drew Dober, you can knock out a house. I mean, Drew Dober is a guy that I never thought would get knocked out. So Benoit Saint-Denis is going to get hit. He's going to get hit hard. And I don't know if his durability is going to go hold up against a guy that hits as hard as Frevola. So I think somebody's getting served here in the first round. I really do. I think it's going to be a first round banger. I think these guys are going to stand and bang it till one man falls. Fight of the night here. But some of these props for Frevola just don't make a ton of sense. Like the fight is minus 400 to end inside the distance and 80% probability. Why is Frevola inside the distance plus 320? Why is his first round knockout prop plus 950? I don't know. So in a fight that I feel like could really go either way, I think these Frevola finish props are juicy, and that's kind of where I'm leaning in terms of these bets here. So what I did was I took a half unit and I put it on Frevola inside the distance at plus 320. And then I put a quarter unit on Frevola to win by first round knockout plus 950, and then Frevola to win by second round knockout quarter unit plus 1200. It's a bet where I think there's going to be many opportunities. Frevola's fighting at home. Benoit Saint-Denis having a quick turnaround, and I think Frevola's at the very least he's going to do his best to try to cash that first round ticket at plus 950. So yeah, that's how I'm playing it there. Obviously I wouldn't be shocked if Saint-Denis knocked him out. I think that's very much on the table. I think that's probably the most likely outcome, but Benoit Saint-Denis by knockout's only like plus 150, which is not juicy enough for me. So give me Frevola to hopefully cash some of these early props. I mean, I think there's a lot of value on them at the very least. I bet Frevola, but it's risky. You have to dog or pass for me. I think this fight can go either way. The more this week went on, the more I hate my Benoit Saint-Denis pick. Like, I hate it. Fight to end by KO seems like a good play. I don't mind that. It's minus 110 I saw. New mythical fighter unlocked Veterans Day for Frevola. Could be. Team Steam. All main card fights are favored to finish inside the distance. One or two of them going to go over, but which one? I think Sabatini could win by decision. I think Andrade could win by decision. If the Pereira, Aspinall, or Saint-Denis fights went the distance, I'd be pretty surprised. Benoit Saint-Denis gets hurt in each of his fight. Yeah, he gets hurt a lot. He's super tough, but he got finished in his only loss against Elijah Zaleski. The ref, again, just refused to stop the fight. Just refused. And Frevola hits much harder than Elijah Zaleski dos Santos. I parlayed Kang, Frevola, and Borshchev plus 400, tiny bet only. I think all three are very live. After watching Benoit Saint-Denis versus Moises and how Benoit Saint-Denis fought against the cage, I just see Frevola catching him and sleeping him. Got a small bet on Frevola. He got dog or pass. God of War has a super chin. He does, but so did Drew Dober. The superest of super chins, Drew Dober did. I mean, Frevola knocked him out. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Sick fight. Flip a coin ski. Yeah. Yep. I think it's a coin flip. You're crazy. I guess I am. I'm crazy betting a plus 950. I don't know. I mean, it's worth a shot for me. If you want to lay minus 200 on Saint-Denis, you could go for it. He probably wins. I'm still going to pick him to win, but I don't know. I think Revola's live. I'm betting on Aspinall Pav going the distance, and Tom's taking it. Call me crazy. That would be kind of crazy. Aspinall, all his fights have finished before the third round, and the two fights that went over 1.5, he actually lost. So I don't know. That would be crazy. We've seen crazier things happen though. Brady, the next time Micaiah fights, you will place a prop bet on him by submission in round 3. I will be too. I bet him to win by sub in general, but I did not bet the round 3, which I guess I should have, but I just bet the sub in general. You think Aspinall goes same way? Yeah, maybe Aspinall takes down Pavlovich, gets into mount, and maybe he decides to play patty cake. I don't know. Saint-Denis is going to submit Steamroller in the second round. Brady, you got any prize picks you can touch on at the end of the breakdown? Yeah, remind me after. There's some things sticking out. Off the top of my head, I like the Erceg less than 1.5 takedowns on Underdog. They have it set at 2, which I like quite a bit. I like some Rebecki props on there as well. Yeah, I'll have to pull it up. But yeah, I have a couple of entries I like. And yes, he is. All right. We'll move on to the next fight. We got Pat Sabatini going against Diego Lopez. So for me, this is how I see the fight playing out. I see two outcomes here. The first outcome, and this is what probably the most likely outcome is, to be honest, is Sabatini taking down Lopez in round 1, 2, and 3 and controlling him for 15 minutes. Pat Sabatini wins, and he wins by decision. I think that's a very likely outcome. Although I'm picking Lopez, it's got to be said that that's very much on the table. That's the path. But I'm not sure if it's that simple, though. I mean, Diego Lopez is a guy that I think is just leveling up each and every fight. I think this guy's getting a lot better. I think he's a much different fighter than he was in the Joe Anderson-Brito fight. I really do. His striking's looking better than ever, and he always has that very slick submission game, that very active submission game, right? So it's a fight where, yeah, Sabatini can take him down and lay on him and win the fight that way, but Diego Lopez is going to be live in this fight to win at any point, at any moment, and he's going to be live to win this fight anywhere it goes. On the feet, Lopez can knock out Sabatini. Sabatini's been hurt to lesser hitters than Diego Lopez. I mean, Jamal Emmers, of all people, knocked down Sabatini in 30 seconds. Damon Jackson finished this guy in a minute via strikes in the first round. Damon Jackson finishes nobody via strikes in the first round. So Diego Lopez has real power. Diego Lopez has knocked guys out. Diego Lopez has knocked guys down and then subbed them shortly after. Diego Lopez has a lot more power than a guy like Damon Jackson and Jamal Emmers, right? So on the feet, I think Sabatini is going to be in trouble in this fight potentially. And then on the mat, yes, Sabatini is going to be the one getting takedowns, going to be the one getting on top, but Lopez is going to be threatening with submissions nonstop. I mean, Sabatini to win this fight is going to have to fight a perfect game plan across 15 minutes. What I did was I really like to finish only here. I got it on early. I beat some line movement here. I have 2 units on the Diego Lopez finish only, minus 110, which was a stupid line at a pick'em. I think Lopez is much more likely to finish this fight. It's minus 150 right now on DraftKings Sportsbook. I like it. I mean, if you're on the Lopez side, that's a bet that you probably like a lot, because if you play the money line of Lopez and then he loses a decision, it sucks. But if you play the finish only, right, he loses a decision, the bet is voided. So I like the finish only a lot. I think Lopez is more likely to finish this fight than Sabatini is by a decent margin. Lopez is super tough. Sabatini, I do question the toughness a little bit. We've seen him hurt just way too many times. So I'm on the finish only for Lopez, and that's it. There's 2 units on that. Was looking at maybe a Lopez inside the distance prop, Lopez by knockout or sub. I mean, I could see a knockout, I could see a sub. I'm just going to stick with the finish only there, but that's kind of how I'm playing it. If you like Sabatini by decision makes a lot of sense to me. But yeah, that's about it. From a DraftKings perspective, both sides are in play. Like I said, two paths. If Sabatini takes this guy down for 15 minutes, he scores really good. And if Lopez subs him or knocks him out, he scores really good. I think this fight's very important from a DraftKings perspective, a fight that I'm really looking forward to. A very, very fun stylistic matchup here. Sabatini, Diego Lopez. Yeah, finish only. That's about it. Pat is TKOing Lopez. Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that. That's actually a popular play. I see the Sabatini TKO. I don't know. I mean, I think Sabatini is going to want to just like stick on him like glue. I don't think he's going to take a lot of chances to TKO him. I think Bat wins via wet blanket decision, or Diego Lopez lands a knee or up kick in the middle, much like Damon did, and it gets a KO or even a club and some. I'm seeing the exact same thing. That's what I took, Brady. Lopez decision, no bet, makes a lot of sense. If you lose the decision, you get your bet voided there. I like it. Betting breakdown video is going to be out at 7, I think. I'm going to record it after this video. Lopez by heel hook. Oh, yeah, you can bet the exact sub, right? Heel hook, 40-1. If he gets a heel hook on Sabatini, that'd be wild. I don't know. I mean, if Lopez has so many different submissions he can go to, I don't know what it would be. Lopez wins the stand-up battle if he paces himself and doesn't exhaust the gas tank. One thing's for sure. If there's going to be a submission song and dance in this fight, yeah, I definitely like Lopez in the striking, that's for sure. But I don't know if there's going to be a lot of striking, to be honest. I think Lopez will beat the crap out of him, but my picks are under ice. That would be nice. That'd be nice. Underdog with the best chance to pull off the upset, I'd say either Slava Claus or Diego Lopez or somebody in the main or co-main. I mean, I think a lot of these dogs are allowed to pull off an upset. Aside on the Pavlovich side, what is up? Do people actually think Pat will tap? He's KO or bust. You think Sabatini's KO or bust? I think he's like decision or bust, in my opinion. And that's kind of how I'm seeing it too. AK Lopez inside the distance or Sabatini decision. I hope so. Borshchev KO, that'd be nice. KO 1, yeah, I'm on the KO myself. I don't think it's possible. And Pat's not really a TKO guy. Like, let's see. Sabatini. When's the last time he got it? Because he subbed Almeida. He subbed Emmers. I mean, I don't remember the last time Sabatini has KO'd anybody. I'll have to look. Let me see. The last time Sabatini KO'd somebody was, because I do not remember off the top of my head. It wasn't in the UFC. It was 2020 against Jordan Tatoni, and that was his only knockout ever. So yeah, Sabatini does have one knockout. I don't know. It would surprise me, but we've seen crazier things happen. All right. We will, and yes, sir, he is. He is this very slight favorite. All right, we'll move on to the next fight. We got Mackenzie Dern going against Jessica Andrade. And yeah, I mean, if this fight was 2 years ago, I'd be max betting Jessica Andrade here. But the fact of the matter is, I think Andrade, as crazy as it sounds, she's only 32. I think she's on her way out. I mean, she's looked terrible her last 3 fights. Not only has she been getting finished in all 3 of her fights, her last ones, right? But it's not even that. It's she's looking terrible in those fights. She had no success at all in any of those fights. Against Yan Xiaonan, she gets knocked out in 2 minutes. Against Erin Blanchfield, she loses the striking exchanges somehow and gets taken down and submitted 30 seconds after. And then against Tatiana Suarez, this is what kind of did it for me. Against Tatiana Suarez, Andrade didn't even show up. We saw a very tentative Jessica Andrade, which we've never seen her entire career ever. Andrade that was just doing nothing. So for me, it kind of seems like Andrade doesn't want to be in there at this point. She's showing up for a paycheck at least it's what it looks like. And apparently she said media day that she's going through a divorce at the moment. And so maybe that's affecting her. I don't know, but yeah, Andrade looks off. And that pains me to say, because I'm a big Andrade fan. I've always have been a big Andrade fan. And I've been a Mackenzie Dern hater, but if Andrade is checked out, how's she going to go in there and win fights, especially against these top level fighters? And even Dern, Dern's made a lot of improvements in her striking, a lot of improvements in her wrestling. At one point, Dern's takedown accuracy was 7%. Dern's completed 5 takedowns her last 2 fights. And this is a situation where I think Jessica Andrade's ground game is so bad off her back. She's a black belt, but when Andrade is on her back, she looks like a white belt. She looks terrible. Blanchfield sliced through her guard like butter and submitted her shortly after. Tatiana Suarez submitted her pretty easily. Remember what Valentina did to her as well. And yeah, I mean, Andrade has been finished in 8 of her 10 losses in the UFC, 3 in a row, and, getting finished. If Dern takes her down, I think she styles on her. I really do. So I'm going to go with Mackenzie Dern inside the distance. I'm going to go with Mackenzie Dern inside the distance, 0.75 units, plus 100. That line is still there on DraftKings. And then Dern by submission, plus 175, half a unit on Bet365. I'm not sure if it's still there, but that's the best price out there by a mile. Dern sub, 175, half a unit on there. So if Dern submits Jessica Andrade, it's plus 1.6 units. And if she doesn't submit Jessica Andrade, it probably means that Andrade showed up. She was able to keep the fight standing, and Andrade probably wins the decision. But I can't pick Andrade here, or even thinking about picking Andrade, because she doesn't look like she wants to be there. So I think Dern styles on her, and Jessica Andrade gets finished for the 4th time in a row. Andrade KO only, minus 175. Good place since Dern has never had a KO win. I guess the only concern would be maybe Dern with a TKO, but yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, the ceremonies are starting pretty soon. I hope this is the Andrade comeback fight. Man, I don't know. I mean, I wish they would give her I don't know, give her Lauren Murphy again. Give her something to get back on track. How can anyone bet on Andrade? I mean, if they're betting Andrade, I would get it if it was 2 years ago, but I don't know. If she shows up, maybe she can win. I'm just not sure. Dern KO around 340 to 1. Andrade is fragile. I think she's very fragile, and I think she's going to look for a way out if she battles any adversity here. Dern looked at her best in her last fight against Angela, but still not betting her. She's untrustworthy still. Yeah, I can agree with that. Andrade is Strickland 2.0. Strickland never got finished 3 fights in a row. I mean, Andrade just looks off. Odds are wrong. Both MMA fights are pick'ems. I don't really agree with how Andrade has looked as of late. I don't know if Dern was a pick'em, I'd probably max better, but she's like minus 2 something. Dern is my lock of the week. Andrade is a beast, but I don't know. I think she gave up on being the best. Dern is hungry. Yeah, one fighter's hungry, one fighter's not. I think Dern bullies Andrade here, backs her up easily, drags her down, and submits her. Andrade still paying divorce fee. Yeah, the divorce is going on apparently with Andrade. Rushing into fights, not great. Safdie put it best. Looks checked out. Yeah, she looks checked out. I agree with that. Everyone high on Dern. Yeah, I'm kind of high on Dern. I think she's looking a lot better. She beat Lauren Murphy and by decision. Yep, her last win was against lucky Lauren Murphy, which she wasn't too lucky in that fight. That's for sure. And I'm right there with you. Andrade she's done until proven otherwise. If she wins this fight, maybe she's back, but I don't know. All right. Moving on to the next fight, we have the co-main event, Tom Aspinall versus Sergey Pavlovich, a fight that I'm really looking forward to. And yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, both this main event and co-main event can go either way. There are very strong opinions one way or another, right? But at the end of the day, this is a heavyweight fight, and somebody's getting served here, right? And I saw a quote with Tom Aspinall the other day. He says, and I quote, "I'm not going to have a dick measuring competition with him, both literally and figuratively. He'll probably win both." I mean, Tom Aspinall's a smart guy. I mean, because he's right. He's not going to want to stand there and swing dicks with Sergey Pavlovich. If he does, he's probably getting knocked out. Tom's going to wrestle here. He's going to wrestle here. He's going to try to get this fight down to the mat. And if he does, if Aspinall gets this fight down to the mat, I mean, he's going to style on Pavlovich. The one time we saw Pavlovich off his back just had absolutely nothing to offer. And Aspinall's ground game is good. This guy's a BJJ black belt. He can wrestle. I love the entries on the takedowns against Alexander Volkov. He can wrestle. He can get fights down to the mat. And I think that's going to be the game plan here. It all comes down to, is Aspinall's head going to stay attached up until he's able to get the takedown? Because, Pavlovich could knock him out. I mean, that would not shock anybody, but I think Aspinall has a clear path to victory here with getting the fight down to the mat, and it probably only takes one. We didn't really get to see Curtis Blades go for takedowns, which would have been nice. That we would have learned a lot, but Curtis Blades is not the smartest fighter out there. But I kind of have a feeling Aspinall is going to wrestle, and if he does, I think he gets him down and subs him, to be honest. But you can't be too confident. But the bets I have here, I have a couple. I have Aspinall to win this fight in the first, second, or third round, plus 110, FanDuel Sportsbook, 0.75 units. Aspinall's never seen a third round before in his entire career. He's never won a fight that's went over 1.5 rounds, but I'm on the 1, 2, and 3 there, plus 110, 0.75 units. I'm on Aspinall sub, half a unit, plus 390. I think the sub is going to be super live if he gets a takedown. And then on Aspinall sub 2 and sub 3, sub 2, plus 1,600, 0.15 units, sub 3, plus 4,100 for 0.10 units. I think if Aspinall gets on top, the sub is going to be very live in that fight. And that's kind of how I'm playing it there. And then on top of, from a DraftKings perspective, I mean, both these guys have an opportunity to score very well. Yes, this fight is 5 rounds. Tom gets put out in 30 seconds. It's on the table. It's on the table. Tom has very fast entries, no telegraph. His entries are very nice. All it's going to take is probably one takedown. We got Rob with a 12% off of Jessica Andrade's OnlyFans. Promo code is "What are you doing?" I like it. I might have to check it out. My membership did expire. We are eating fish and chips. Tom is fragile and quit in front of his home fans. Max bet Pavi. Wait, you're saying he quit in the Curtis Blades fight where he broke his leg? What? I don't. Okay, that's funny. Pavlovich is a refrigerator. He is. But refrigerators, they're not good off their back. If you ever seen a refrigerator off their back, they're not good. Aspinall, Kimura. Ooh, I like that. I think that could be super live there. Most of my bets ended Pav KO. Hey, it could happen. Sergey KO, like always, nobody's stopping him. Yep, as long as that takedown defense holds up, that KO's happening for sure. D1 Aspinall, that's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. He'd be smart. Man, Tom's BJJ is good, though. And his wrestling's not bad. And we got to keep in mind, these guys are heavyweights. So, Aspinall's BJJ in wrestling doesn't have to be that great to beat a lot of these guys. He submitted Volkov, and Volkov's a brown belt. I think that was the first time Volkov's ever been submitted, too, in the UFC. So, yeah, I mean, I like Aspinall's BJJ in wrestling, to be honest. True, too much faith in wrestling at BJJ. I mean, if he gets the fight down to the mat, he doesn't need much to finish Pavlovich. And we saw Overeem just destroy him. There's no way you're confident on Pav after taping Aspinall. A lot of people are confident either way. I know our guy Sean V, who shows up a lot, says that Aspinall has a 0% chance to win the fight, which in my opinion, I think it's probably 50-50. Like, I'm not going to go out here and say Aspinall is going to win this fight. I'm super confident. And you can't be confident in this fight one way or another. I mean, this can go either way. So, yeah, I think it's 50-50, but I think Aspinall has a clear path here. As does Pavlovich, though. Clear path of taking his head off. All right, then we got the main event. Got Alex Pereira going against Yuri Prochazka. Yeah, I mean, this main event and this co-main event, they're two really tough fights to call. On the Prochazka side, I don't like the fact that he's had about a 1.5 year layoff. I don't like the fact that he has no striking defense. And there was a picture that I saw, and I hope I screenshotted it. I didn't. But there's a picture I saw of Yuri with his hands completely down to his waist and him like headbutting a punch. And that sums up his striking defense to a T there. I mean, Yuri, he blocks punches with his face, and, he's been able to get away with that. Although Dominic Reyes hurt Yuri twice, Glover Teixeira hurt Yuri a couple times, and then even Uzdemir hurt Yuri a couple times in the first round. He's been able to get away with it, but I mean, if you get hit clean by Alex Pereira, I'm not sure his chin's gonna hold up. And then on the flip side, Alex Pereira, I don't know if he has the best durability, but I think coming up to light heavyweight may help that durability out a little bit. But still, I mean, if Yuri hits Pereira clean, it's not going to matter. He's probably going down. So I don't really have a strong lean one way or another. But I do like violence here quite a bit. In another fight where I did get reverse CLV'd. I have 2.5 units on the under 2.5 rounds in this fight, minus 167. That line is now minus 155 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Yuri has, what does he have? 32, 33 fights. 29 of those fights have went under 2.5 rounds. Both these guys have no striking defense, and both these guys have legit power. I think somebody's getting served here before 12.5 minutes. So, and then I also sprinkled a quarter unit on Yuri sub for funsies, just because if this fight does get down to the mat, I mean, Yuri's going to sub him, but I'm not really expecting him to grapple. But hey, if the fight hits the mat, I think the Yuri sub is very live. So 12-1, I think that's worth a poke. And then I am on the only parlay I have this week is a violence parlay. The main event, Yuri Pereira fight won't start round 5, parlayed with the Pavlovich Aspinall fight won't start round 3. 3 units, minus 150 to win 2 units. Aspinall's never seen a third round. And the Yuri Alex Pereira fight won't start round 5. That line, minus 375 is the line for that. I think that's pretty solid considering I saw the fight doesn't go at like minus 700. So I like violence in both the main and co-main. And a lot of my night comes down to violence in the main and co-main. So hopefully getting some violence in these 2 last fights. I think somebody's getting served in both. And then both fights are really good to have on DraftKings as well. Got Uncle Weezy in the building. What is up, Uncle Weezy? Oi to you as well. Poton season. If Aspinall wins, the UFC is doing tricks for the English crowd. Pav by KO. Timing, distance, and speed. Both co-main and main event inside the distance. I hope so. Both on money line. Yuri box punches with his face. He does. Like, literally does. Yuri is the most overrated fighter. He's beat 0 good strikers in his whole career. Max bet Alex and thank me later. PS, you're welcome. I don't know if I max betted, but I'm with you. Remember, you have to duck your head to get taken down. To get a takedown, uppercut, city with Pavlovich. Could happen. I think Yuri gets a knockout. I think so, too. I mean, this guy hits like a truck, and I don't know. I think somebody's getting knocked out. Yuri will find a way. He always seems to. Problem is, Yuri is crazy and could win by some crazy kick. Yeah, something can happen there. All right. I'm not going to go through all my action, but I'll be getting out a betting breakdown video at 7, so be sure to check that out. Lots of action this week. Lots of DraftKings this week. I have a DraftKings video out, a Prize Picks video out, and so go check all that out. And then tomorrow I'll be doing Best Bet 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Me, Uncle Weezy, and Danny Bet. Should be a fun show. Thank you all for hanging out. It means a ton. And go enjoy the ceremonial weigh-ins. I think they're about to start, so check those out. And yeah, guys, best of luck. Should be a fun card. It's my highest exposed card since couple months. I haven't had a ton of action these last couple cards, but this is a card I think there's a lot of spots sticking out. So hopefully everything comes through, everything goes well, and best of luck, everybody. We'll talk to you very soon. See you.